Right, we are back. Right, take a seat. Please take a seat. Right, so here's the thing. We've heard some fantastic words of wisdom, and the thing is, when we think about presidents, heads of states, and politicians, think of different countries, think of different heads of states. We often only kind of see one side, and perhaps it's maybe time to hear the other side of Kolinda, almost like Kolinda's confessions in a way, which could even be a podcast. So you're in the hot seat. If it doesn't feel too hot right now, it might feel hot in a moment when I ask you the questions. But don't worry, it's only really between me and you, everybody here, and pretty much everybody beaming in live from around the world. But hey, we'll keep it just between us, yeah.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Right. So just the first thing I'm going to throw at you, Kolinda, what's a lie you recently told?
I'm sure I've told some, but
we all do.
My problem in life, though, has been that I can't lie. And that's a huge disadvantage in politics. Not in diplomacy, mind you. In the diplomatic service, you should never lie because you lose your credibility. But, it's the values that my family set. But what I do tell is white lies to make people feel better.
Like what?
Like your speech wasn't really horrible, but perhaps you could do this or that.
I suppose as a politician and in politics, this is certainly something that people try to kind of cover or create a different perception from the messages they're sharing. So interesting answer. Right, if we were to look right now at your mobile phone and we were to scroll through your contact list and looking at all those people in your contact list, any famous people we would find in there? Who for you is the kind of number one person you're so proud you've got in your contact list?
Let me just ask one question first. How many of you from Croatia? All right. So what you will probably know about that satirical show that was put up in Zagreb by one of the theaters where I'm hosting dinner with former presidents. And actually, my contact list in my phone is one of the subjects, and they list like 20 numbers for a certain person who's wanted by law. And I actually don't have his phone contact. But that obviously is a question that interests many people. But if I have to think who's the most famous person, I would definitely go for Croatian. I would definitely go for Luka Modric.
Really, Luka Modric. So, but let's take it a little bit further. How kind of good are you with Luka? I mean, do you give him a call, Luka? Well done, or come over for coffee? How is your relationship with Mr. Modric?
I am really good friends with his father and his uncle, who are twins, by the way. So, and as you know, I always go into the stands to cheer with the football fans. So I spent many a game watching Luka with his relatives, his father and his uncle. And then I'd go to the locker room, and then he'd get up and, oh, were you with my dad and my uncle again? Criticizing me up in the sense, no. We said everything great about you. So I'd actually bring the two of them down there. And yes, I have, I don't know, I have sort of these maternal feelings towards Luka. He feels, maybe because my son's name is Luka, so right. They feel...
Well, maybe Luka sees you as a mother figure in some way, perhaps.
No, I think he's a very family-oriented person and a great guy, actually. The first thing that he did after the last game was go up in the stands to say hello to his children and wife.
Amazing, amazing. So it kind of leads me nicely on. This isn't a question, but it just reminds me of the images we saw at the beginning with Kolinda, the World Cup, Croatia, the checkered jersey, that all that emotion, and how for those of you that I'm sure most of you know anyway, but Croatia did very, very well getting to the final of the World Cup in 2018, and Kolinda was at many of the matches and not necessarily wearing a kind of formal presidential attire that you would expect, but often seen in the beautiful checkered jersey, which is a real symbol of Croatia, the region, and it's something you can identify straight away. Just give us a little bit of those feelings you felt when all of this kind of unfolded, straight from you. We saw pictures. We would love to hear what you
it was an emotional roller coaster. All of those games. Well, first of all, I decided to go as a football supporter because I really love football. I used to play football as a girl.
Really?
Yes.
Position?
Whatever was needed.
Whatever was needed, I'll go and go.
One, so sometimes I could actually slide in between the legs of bigger players.
Right.
So
good. Any goals?
Mostly on. Oh yeah, plenty. I didn't like being a goalie though. That was the least favorite. Okay. But mostly right field, right side offense. And, speaking about Russia and those moments, interestingly enough, a lot of people here in Croatia thought it was inappropriate of me to do that. And especially inappropriate for me as a woman to go down to the locker rooms and hug, as they said, sweaty players. And, when men do that, they have absolutely no problem with that. Or even some other female leaders who are perceived in a different way. But it did give me visibility throughout the world because I insisted coming there. I said, I'm not going to go to the VIP sections because I'm not going to be respecting the dress code, which is business suit. There is no way you can force me to take my jersey off. So I'm going to go and cheer with the rest of the football fans in the stands. So ultimately, after a game or two, they kind of modify the rules for me to be able to wear the jersey. And I said, okay, I'm going to wear a jacket during the anthem playing ceremony, but then I'm taking it off and I am just cheering for my team. And that was it. And actually, everybody thought it was quite cool. To put it
very
in the
cool,
words of
very
my
cool.
children.
I mean, clearly, as you say, really, the whole world saw this. They saw, because they were obviously thinking of their president and what their president would do or wouldn't do, and they see what you're doing with the checkered jersey and really showing that passion and celebrating with the team and the nation, and I'm sure that made them feel great. And I've often seen you, in fact, in photograph with selfies from other fans, and you're not in like the area, the kind of VIP area. You're with the fans watching the game, and they're taking selfies with you, which is fantastic. We'll move on away from football slightly, and maybe if I can take you back to maybe your younger days, and I'm sure all of us. I had a crush when I was younger, and I'm sure everybody here had a crush, and everybody at home as well. What we would love to know right now is celebrity crushes. First celebrity crush. Or actually, you don't care, all of them. Tell us a whole list. We would love to know.
Honestly, I had so many. I can't remember my first one. Yeah, I used to get a lot
Okay, we've only got kind of 20 minutes for this, but hey, maybe we can continue. Keep going. Tell us more.
And it was, for me, it was very important that I played some kind of a hero role. So I would not be like a movie star and have a general crush on that person, but playing in particular movies that I like, that I took to heart. Or a lot of people, actually, a lot of athletes, a lot of football players. I used to go to a lot of games when I was in high school.
Right.
It was for the love of football, but also for some crushes as well, I must admit.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then my next question is any of those crushes, did you, as your career developed and then you became president of Croatia, did you actually get to meet some of those people?
I did quite a few.
Tell us.
I did quite a few. Um, I don't know. Again, athletes, but also, and this is an interesting thing. There was this famous singer in former Yugoslavia, Zdravko Čolić, and there were actually some media who were insinuating that we had a relationship. Well, I did have a crush on him when I was a girl, but I met him only when I was president, when I had been president for about 2 or 3 years. So it was, I felt good that I could be introduced to him. But again, a number of football players and some others. Yeah.
It's great to hear that.
And there's an interesting story also when I was, I think I was ambassador at the time. We were having dinner with our president at the Met, and Alec Baldwin was there at, one of the tables not far away from me. And, he was looking at me, and I sort of,
he was one of your crushes.
He was, yeah, when I was younger.
Okay.
So I wasn't sure because my eye vision is poor. So I turned around, I saw there was no one around, and I said, me? He said, yeah. And I'm thinking, where were you a few years ago?
Where were you, Alex? Where were you? Now you come into my life.
Quite a few others.
It's great to hear that sport and football and all this has played an important role in your life. Yeah. Yeah.
Very, very
in
much
many different
so.
ways, how it's helped you.
And sport has actually helped me a lot with my self-confidence. Realizing that I could play football with boys, it was just one of those roles that mothers or even other boys would tell girls, you can't play football, you can't play with us. But once I taught them that I could beat them at their own game, then of course they give you respect, and respect is what you need a lot in order to gain that self-confidence.
Let's move away from sports. Let's leave the locker room and let's go maybe into the world of a world that most of us don't really know too much about. We only kind of see on TV the world of presidents, and the world of meeting so many people, so many heads of states and dignitaries and other presidents around the world. I would love to hear if there's any kind of stories or anecdotes where you've maybe, I don't know, forgotten the name of a president, or you kind of screwed up basically when you were with the president.
Not in that way. Never. I always took care that I was very well informed, that if there were certain names or things that I could not remember, I would actually write them in the palm of my hand. In particular, with these welcoming ceremonies, when you have to walk in front of the honor guards, and then you have to say this greeting in their native language. Not all languages are easy, so I would have that in the palm of my hand, that I don't forget in the moment that you're in the spotlight. But I had other types of situations that were fortunately never caught on camera, but that were embarrassing. Because of we women are forced to wear that as high heel shoes, or shoes that and really taught me a lesson. Whenever you buy new shoes, that just take them to have them fitted so that they put something underneath your soles that you don't slip. I'm not going to name the country, but thankfully there were no media when I was foreign minister at the time, when I went to see the president. And the floors were parquet, and they were so polished that they were so slippery. And I had these leather sole shoes. Was very careful. It was him, it was our ambassador, and myself. And I was very careful not to slip on the floor. So I get to the carpet and I think that I'm safe. And then I slide into a split right in front of the president, hitting the chairs, hitting the sofa. And fortunately, being athletic, I got up very quickly, but we had to readjust the furniture and the carpet. And, thankfully, my skirt was really like one of those, because had I had a tight skirt, it would have gone into a complete
imagine.
Yeah, so absolutely. That was, and then, I sat down, I was still recovering from that embarrassment, and like 25 cameras come in, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I was so lucky this time.
Lucky.
But I have to think that this never happens again. So
Intriguing. I can just imagine that moment, but luckily enough, there wasn't anyone to kind of capture it and get it on camera. Just something that you mentioned just earlier on there. Would you say that to do your job as president and to do it really, really well, the people around you providing you with the information and the data and the small little details really help you to do your job that extra bit better?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Sometimes it's very important to know some personal things about likes and dislikes, other people's birthdays, even their spouses or children's birthdays, the names of their family members, what they do. So it's not always about political information. A lot of it is personal in order to be able to establish this close personal relationship. And those in politics are very important. Sometimes the personal relations go well beyond the official relationship between the two countries. And it's always an advantage if you can pick up the phone and call someone and talk about a certain issue before it develops into a crisis.
You've traveled a lot. You traveled before you became president, traveled a lot, studied many places, met many people. I'm just thinking about airports. Is there any airport that kind of sticks out for you? An airport that you just, when you get there, you just enjoy going there, flying through the airport? You've been to so many, I'm sure.
Sure, I've been to so many, and Frankfurt is usually the one where I do most.
To get out of Croatia, we go to Frankfurt.
Get out, but the ones that I really remember most is in Kabul in Afghanistan, and really? Not because I loved being at it or because it was smooth, but just because of the things that you see that work and don't work and how much needs to be done in a certain country. I think that airports really are the true gateways to a country where you first encounter the culture, the mindset, the openness of a certain society, the rules, whether there's corruption or no corruption. So, those are very important points that we often disregard. People who visit our countries get their first impression, which in most cases is the lasting one.
Have you ever lost your case at an airport?
My luggage?
Yeah.
Oh, it was lost plenty of times.
Even though it's diplomatic. I mean, okay, two sides. You've got
no. It's just priority luggage. Right. But if the plane is late, there's nothing that you can do. Once when I was in Rome, it was my luggage. I usually take a carry-on with emergency supplies, but at that time I didn't for whatever reason. So my luggage did not arrive and I was waiting for 10 o'clock in the morning for stores to open in Rome. And I had my first meeting at 11. So the evening before we scanned what stores were close to the hotel, I rushed in, I bought some clothes and some shoes and then went to the meetings, and my luggage arrived actually close to when I was supposed to depart. So always carry a carry-on for the first time.
Great advice, great insights on traveling. Guilty pleasures, any guilt? Well, not any. I'm sure you do have. We would love to hear them.
Lots of them, but pizza probably.
Pizza flavor.
Oh, pizza.
What kind of pizza?
Oh, I like pizza with ham, mushrooms, really? Cheese, artichokes, okay. Black olives, and capers. That's my favorite. It's actually, I always have to ask to make it special at a pizza place. And
but I suppose if you say who you are,
places, there's a couple of places in Zagreb where they know me, so they say, your pizza, yeah. Absolutely.
I'm sure most of the country knows you as well. When it's Kolinda asking for a pizza, whatever you want, they'll put it on there. But okay, so a road trip. Think about a great road trip anywhere that you're going to go. Let's say for 2 weeks. Not someone in your family. Okay, not someone in your family. Who would you? And not Alec Baldwin or any of the Crushes. Who would you love to go on a road trip with? One person.
One person.
Yeah.
It's a tough choice.
Oh, okay, a couple. You've got a couple in your head, have you?
I'm thinking,
like a group, like a gang.
I've been talking also to the colleagues with whom I worked and with my friends to go to the US to rent this big vehicle and to travel across the US, and we stop where we like it. We go to national parks. We have a lot of fun just hiking, not with any particular plan or schedule that we have to stick to, but if we like it, we stay. If we don't like it, we carry on. But we all exchange at the wheel. In the meantime, we sing a lot, we tell stories, we laugh. So actually, when we visited New Zealand, we had an experience that was relatively close to that when they took us by bus around New Zealand and went to Hobbiton, but also to some other places such as renewable energy plants. And, we were singing and laughing and telling stories on the bus. So it's always group. I don't think that traveling with one person, it's not healthy. I mean, you're going to kill each other before the road trip's over. So it's just, it's always about who's.
You're right. Unless it's someone really.
At first you start, no, you say where we're going to go. You say this, you decide. And then you get tired of that and you start imposing your own wishes and decisions. So it's better to work it out among a group of people.
Biggest fear? What's your biggest
It always involves
fear?
my children, that something would happen to them. So that's undoubtedly the biggest fear in my life, an accident or whatever.
Okay. Moving on, kind of almost wrapping up our Kolinda's Confessions. Podcast will be out soon. So going back to the football, Croatia, which is relevant for now as well. Recently, Croatia, unfortunately, were knocked out and not going any further, unfortunately. But if you didn't have to, we don't have to, but if you weren't supporting Croatia, which is natural, or literally, let me put it this way: who are you supporting now? In the last 16, the last countries that are in the final.
I think there's kind of a
Who
deal.
would you like to win?
I think there's kind of a deal with the Czech tourists that we're going to support the Czech team. But it's true. But and thinking about it, I may go for Spain as well. Even though they beat us in the last game, I don't know. Sort of. Okay. I know a lot of people are going to take that against me right now, but
we've all got nobody.
They beat us, so I hope they make it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, England beat you as well. We hopefully we'll do well. Hopefully, I don't know. And very lastly, do you have a nickname? Do you have a nickname that you like people to call you, or have called you in the past?
My brother could not pronounce his younger by 4 years, so he couldn't pronounce Kolinda, and he called me Dina. That's what my family calls me, Dina.
Dina.
But most of my friends call me Koli.
Koli.
Mm-hmm. Koli.
Okay, it's nice.
So I like that one. I like both.
You like it, I like it, we like it, and everybody around the world likes it. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Kolinda Grabar-Kitarović.
Thank you.